We're going to spend some time thinking about the second half of the first chapter of Mark's Gospel, verses 21 onwards. And I'm going to explore the major themes of this section of Mark's Gospel under two big headings. We're going to consider two big ideas, if you like. And the first of those big ideas is this: that Jesus' authority, evidenced in word and deed, sets him apart as God's appointed king. Jesus' authority, evidenced in word and deed, sets him apart as God's appointed king. I would suggest that the concept of authority is enormously significant in this section of Mark's Gospel. On two occasions, Jesus' listeners are amazed at the authority that he has. Jesus goes into the synagogue at Capernaum and he teaches the people. And the people are amazed because he speaks as one who has authority, not like the teachers of the law. They were used to listening to the teachers of the law. They were the authorized Bible teachers of their day. They were honored for their function of explaining and interpreting the Old Testament scriptures to the Jewish people. But when the teachers of the law spoke, they would say, as Moses said, or in the words of Rabbi such and such. But Jesus has a compelling authority all of his own. And later in chapter 1, the people are asking, what is this? A new teaching, and with such authority. Jesus has authority that is evidenced in word and in deed. It's important for Mark that Jesus doesn't just preach with authority, but Jesus' authority is backed up by action. And that brings us to the miracles. The miracles in Mark's Gospel are significant because they are a further demonstration of Jesus' authority. Mark's Gospel is full of miracles. In fact, Mark puts more emphasis on Jesus' miracles than the other Gospel writers. About a third of the verses in Mark's Gospel recount Jesus' extraordinary works of power. And this now moves us to the second of our two big ideas. And it's this: through Jesus, God is opposing every rival power that sets itself up in direct opposition to his rule. We might put it this way: through Jesus, God is directly challenging every rival power that opposes his rule. You see, Jesus is God's appointed king. He is the Messiah. He is the one to whom he's the one to whom God has delegated authority. And as God's appointed king, Jesus is the means by which God is contending with his enemies. Jesus is the means by which God is going head to head with his enemies. It's through Jesus that the enemies of God will be decisively defeated. You see, the Jews believed that there would be a time in the future when God would establish his rule on the earth, when God's will would be done on earth as in heaven. And the Jews believed that if this was to happen, then all of the powers in this world that oppose the rule of God would have to be defeated. And that's why Jesus came, according to Mark. Jesus has come to destroy every power that corrupts and distorts the goodness of God's creation. He's come to destroy every power that enslaves humanity. He's come to break the tyranny of these powers so that God might establish his rule on the earth, so that the kingdom of God might come. Now, in Mark's Gospel, we see Jesus going head to head with three different powers that oppose the rule of God on the earth. And in Mark's mind, these three powers are very closely related. They are evil spirits, disease, and death. According to Mark, you can't draw a sharp distinction between them. Collectively, they form what are called the spiritual powers, or the spiritual authorities that oppose the rule of God on the earth. Now, in Mark chapter 1, we read about Jesus' healing miracles. Jesus goes head to head with disease. But what looms large for us in this chapter is Jesus casting out demons, his exorcism miracles. And it's those miracles that we're going to consider in particular detail.